Hello everybody, what is up? It is Jiwon. Welcome back to the Nectarine Pod, and if you're watching this on YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Okay, so for today's episode, it's gonna be like a little bit of a story time, and I'm retelling my absolute favorite novel, or one of them, and it is The Better Sister by Alafair Burke. This was the first true crime novel I had ever read, and I'm not gonna lie, it scared me so much, but it was so, like, I literally couldn't stop reading it. I talk about it in my book recommendation podcast episode, so yeah, if you don't want spoilers, this is not the episode for you, but if you don't care, then keep listening. So if I told you that someone had married their sister's ex-husband, what would your reaction be? I know it sounds bad, okay? It sounds really bad on paper, but you don't know the full story, okay? Let me give you some more details. We're going to flash back to 14 years ago. Chloe, who is our protagonist, she is at the Met Gala. She's 24, I believe. She just started out in her career, and it's a really big deal that she's there because she, as bad as this sounds, she shouldn't be there. She's there because her boss's boss, Catherine, invited her, and she's her +1, but she's basically just Catherine's bag holder. But it doesn't matter because she's at the Met Gala. And it's a really big deal, the biggest night of her life up until that point. And, she's getting prepared, she's getting, dressed, zipped up, they're finally at the Met Gala, they're on the red carpet, cameras flashing everywhere, Catherine is talking to the mayor and all these important people, while Chloe's basically just getting drinks for them, holding their purses, the works. And she gets a call from her parents. And at first she's like, oh my god, my parents are calling to congratulate me on, the biggest night of my life so far. Because, the thing with her parents, they don't really understand what the Met Gala is, but Chloe explained it to them and was like, no, this is the biggest night of my life. And her parents are like, oh, okay, we're so proud of you, honey, good job. So figuring that, she just ignores them because she has to get drinks for her boss and her, and she's at the Met Gala, you get it. And then her parents call again, and it is very clear that considering the fact that they keep calling, it is not to congratulate her. And Chloe gets just this gut feeling in her stomach of shoot, it's Nikki. Nikki is her younger sister. Nikki is always having a meltdown. She is always imploding. And why does Nikki, who always has something going on, why does she have to choose this particular day to go to implode? And Chloe is pissed. And you might be thinking, oh my god, that's so not sympathetic. Why can't she have sympathy for her sister? This has been going on for their entire lives, okay? Think about it. To put it in perspective, not even in perspective, but just if you've never been in this situation, it's whatever you do, you could literally solve world hunger. It's not gonna matter because you have a sibling who's always a mess, and your parents are always just focused on that sibling because that sibling just cannot get it together. That kind of thing. Honestly, I feel my brother could relate to that a little bit. I can't relate to that because he's always more put together than I am. Anyways, sorry, brother. But Chloe understandably gets annoyed, so she just shuts off her phone. She wants to enjoy the Met Gala. She is at the Met Gala. She's let me just have this one night. Let me just enjoy for a little bit. Because, Nikki has always needed some sort of cleaning up. So, I think it's, after entrees or whatever, her and Catherine, they go to the bathroom, and Chloe finally turns on her phone, checks her messages, and her parents are like, it's Nikki, call us back ASAP, please. And she gets, a bunch of calls from Nikki. She's pissed, kind of understandably, and she listens to the message, and it's hey, it's Adam. Please call me. It's Nikki. So she calls Adam, and Adam is Nikki's husband. She had never heard this emotion in his voice before because it was anger mixed with confusion and fear. That's concerning, right? So Chloe calls Adam back, and he just tells her the facts very matter-of-factly. He's a lawyer, so he probably went into lawyer mode, problem-solving mode with this, because when he got home, he found Nikki and Adam in the pool. I meant to say Ethan, Adam and Nikki's son, but I accidentally said Adam, but I meant Ethan, their baby. Brown hair plastered to her shoulders, she is passed out in the pool. And the baby, he's he was spitting up chlorine from his tiny baby body. That is so dangerous. The baby, Ethan, he could have passed away. So Chloe's okay, Adam, why are you really calling? And Adam's I need your help. Mind you, she's in New York for the Met Gala and he is in Cleveland, but she, think of the baby. The baby could have passed away. So fast forward to present day, Chloe, she's up and up in her career. She is about to get an award for, I forget what exactly, but she's a feminist writer and she's being interviewed by this magazine, and, Adam even pops in to make a little cameo to say something, give her compliments essentially on her career just for it to be featured in the article and everything. everything, and Chloe has made it. Like, she's getting like $1 million book deals kind of made it, okay? Like, Adam is still a lawyer. He's a corporate lawyer. You know, after Chloe's interview, they go home, they like have, you know, you get it. And then Chloe reminds Adam, like, hey, my award show's tomorrow, like, can you be there, can you not? Like, he has a super big case coming up with like something called the Gentry Group. They're a huge client, whatever, you get it, corporate law. And Adam tells her, like, hey, I'm so sorry, I love you, but I might be a little bit late to your award show, again, because of this client, because he has to meet them tomorrow. And, you know, like, if you're trying to get like a really big client, it's kind of like on their time, on their terms, so you get it. So the next day, Chloe decides to work from home, which is very unusual for her. Like, this is not her normal routine, but like the award shows tonight, like, can you really blame her? You get it. And something that she decided to engage in was reading hate comments, because she's a feminist writer. Obviously, she's gonna get hate, she's gonna get backlash, and, you know, she's going through her tweet mentions, and she's like purposely looking for the worst one. Like, you know, they run at the mill, like, you're ugly, you're old, stuff like that, and she's like, okay, whatever, like, do better, almost. Then she finds one that's an R-word threat. And that's the one she decides to, like, retweet him, like a tweet of shame kind of thing. And she's like, okay, my audience, they're gonna report that account. Ha ha ha. Like, that's my win of the day. And then she goes to Pop It, which is basically Reddit. And she searches her name, and it's like a compulsion for her. Like, she can't not do it. She knows it's not good. She doesn't need to read all that, but she can't help it. And then there's this one user, because of their comment, Kurt Lomain, that stands out to her. And it says, she's a hypocrite, full of tough talk about the world needing to change the way it treats women, but she's a coward in her own life. Cares more about her picture-perfect image than reality. Like, ouch. So, like, the thing with that comment, though, is that it stings, because it's like, what the hell? But, like, it's not necessarily mean, you know what I mean? Like, she is this close to responding to this Reddit comment. Like, that's how you know it's, like, getting under her skin, because she wants to respond. But then she sees an email she gets for, like, a styling issue for her photo shoot, like, campaign for a magazine, so she does not respond to the comment, thank goodness. Like, she just, you know, does what she has to do, like, for her work. But, like, that comment stays with her. So it's a little bit later, and we are currently at the award show, and she and Ethan, her son, arrive together at the gala. Adam isn't there yet because he's like with the Gentry Group and stuff, and Chloe bumps into Bill. Bill is just like this super old lawyer. He's like 80 at this point, and she has to like post a picture with him, hashtag press for the people, not the enemy, something like that, like business related stuff, PR, you get it. And Bill, because he's like this like wholesome grandpa figure, and like actually like it's not that kind of dynamic, like genuinely he's just like this wholesome like grandpa mentor figure to her almost, or to Adam almost, to both of them kind of. And he's like, hey, like speaking of Adam, like why isn't he here? And she tells him like, oh, he had to like meet with the Gentry Group, you get it, like really big clients. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, if he doesn't show, I'm gonna like punch him. And Chloe's like, haha, okay. Like, you know, like the protective dad act. And then she sees Jake, which is one of Adam's coworkers who also works like at the same law firm. And she's like kind of annoyed seeing him, because she's like, my husband is slaving away to bag this client and you're here, like, bro, come on. But like, you know, they have a good time. They talk to people. It's time for Chloe to get her award, and she goes on stage, and Catherine, like her old boss, the one that she went to the Met Gala with, like she congratulates her, which is such a surprise to Chloe. And like she admires Catherine so much, so it's a really big deal for her. And Catherine's congratulating her, and she looks into the crowd, and there of course is Adam. He's whistling, he's clapping, like he always pulls through at the end of the day. Like, he's her husband, of course he's gonna pull through. Like, he loves Chloe so much, you know? And like there's Ethan, and they're all just so, like, it's just such a good night for Chloe. Like, she wins this award, the people she loves are there, like, you know, it's very like just heartwarming. Now, flashback onto Adam and Chloe's relationship, and a little insight on Nikki and Adam as well. The thing with Chloe and Adam is that Nikki called it. Like, the sister knew. Like, she knew for sure when Adam moved to New York, and Nikki was like, he's moving to New York to be with Chloe. Like, it's for Chloe. And everyone's like, okay, Nikki, like, calm down, you're being paranoid, like, chill. And like, to Nikki's credit, Chloe did help him with the move. Like, he got him his job, she got him his apartment there, like not like buying it for him, but you know, like the contact stuff like that, just to make his life easier. Because think about it, like, this is a single dad, he only knows Chloe. Like, what is she gonna do, be like, you're on your own, sister loyalty? Like, he has a baby to take care of also. He's a single father, you know? Like, he has to support himself. He has to, like, find a place to work, find a place to live. Like, she's just trying to make the process easier for him. And also, Chloe had a boyfriend at this time. His name was Matt. And you might be thinking, okay, but like Mr. Adam, he still moved from Cleveland to be in New York with Chloe. Like, why couldn't he just stay in Ohio and, like, you know, he had custody of the kid? Okay, well, What would you do if your alcoholic ex-wife keeps showing up at the kid's daycare? Like, so many times where like the police had to be called because she kept showing up drunk at this daycare with like full of children. And you don't, like, reminder, this is the mother that they found in the pool asleep, like passed out with the baby, and the baby was like face down, like the baby could have passed away. Okay, that's why Adam decided to move to New York, because it's like he couldn't do anything. He literally couldn't protect Ethan, like the baby, living in Ohio, because like the mom keeps showing up drunk at this daycare. Like, that's, you know, and it's not like he can bring his kid to work every day. Like, he has to work. And that is why he decided to move to New York, because it's like, okay, at least I know someone, she's family, like she can help take care of him, but you know, like she gets a situation. It's just, you want to be close to family, you know? And genuinely, for the first year, Chloe and Adam were completely platonic. No kisses, no hand, like absolutely nothing. Completely platonic, okay? And then her birthday happened. And Matt dumped her. Like, basically she was gonna have this like get together with like I think 4 other couples, and you know, just like a nice night in and like just like fun with friends kind of thing. And then Matt dumped her, and he was like, I'm sorry, I can't do this. He's like, look, I'm sorry, like I'm not ready to get married. And Chloe's like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not trying to plan a wedding. And he's like, no, I know who you are. First it's this birthday, and then it's gonna be like another holiday, and you're the kind of person who always needing to plan things, and then you're gonna want to get married, and I cannot get married right now. Like, I'm not ready. And Chloe's like, what? And he's like, no, trust me, like I know these things. Like, I'm sorry, but I can't do this. So she has like what, I think like a week, maybe even less before her birthday, and it's like, I can't cancel my own birthday. I don't want a 9th wheel at my own party. And Adam looks at her. He touches her ankle and he says, you're smart and successful and pretty nice to look at. You'd have no problems finding another +1 if that's what you wanted. And it like, and that's their, like, they had a moment, and it just kind of lingered, and like nothing happened in that moment because they were watching Ethan, who's like 3 at this point, so obviously it'd be really irresponsible if they did anything, like leave, like, you know. So fast forward to the day of Chloe's birthday party, and Adam shows up with a gift box from Williams Sonoma, and like she didn't even tell him that she wanted that. It's just like he just somehow knew. And again, nothing physical happened that night of her party, but like at that point it was just kind of inevitable that they would end up together. Like it was like a mutual understanding of like they just kind of knew that they were going to happen. So fast forward to the morning after the gala, and they're like planning on going to their Hamptons house because like now they have time, and it's after Chloe's like award show, and it's like kind of like to celebrate, because also up in like the Hamptons, Catherine, her boss's boss, I think she's like throwing a party up there for Chloe also, and Catherine loves throwing parties. And so Chloe's like trying to plan it, and she's like, hey, to Adam, like, hey, like, can you join us, or like, are you gonna get there after us? And sadly, because Adam left a little bit early so he could attend Chloe's award ceremony, he probably wouldn't be able to join them like when her and Ethan, like when they're driving up, but like he'll meet them up there. Actually, he has to go to the airport like right now to meet with the Gentry Group, like their client, since they're staying at like the airport hotel, which to be fair is kind of weird, because it's like, aren't they like a really big client? Like, why aren't they staying at somewhere nicer? But like they're not really sure about the deal, or like whether they want to like sign with them or whatever, or however it works with like lawyers and stuff. And so they want to be able to just get whatever flight they can like as soon as possible, which is probably why they're staying there. So you get it. So they're just like planning the rest of their day, you know, like checking in, like, okay, like, so I'll probably leave with Ethan or at around 4, like, just, you know, like, meet us when you can, that kind of thing. She has to go to like her Pilates class, but she loves him, kisses him goodbye. And that is the last time she will ever speak to her husband alive. Well, that's the last time she would ever see her husband alive. Not that the police believe her, but it's true. Chloe had found Adam in their Hamptons summer home, seasonal home, not seasonal, but because they would just go like whenever they had time, really no set schedule. But she found him laying there on the floor, BLOOD, soaked, his legs splayed very unnaturally, wearing his heather gray t-shirt and white jersey pajama bottoms, all of which were soaked with BLOOD. So now Chloe is at the police station. Also, disclaimer, I'm sorry for the way I'm telling the story. This is how she wrote it, and I think it just makes the most sense for like the storytelling and just the way everything unfolds, so bear with me with like all the time jumps and stuff. But yeah, they're currently at the police station, and Detective Guidry asks Chloe, would someone have expected you and Adam to be home tonight or not be home tonight? Like apparently there are like a lot of break-ins with like the summer houses and stuff, like the seasonal places, so a lot of the times like people assume that these houses are empty. And Chloe's trying to think, but she's like, no, like we just come here whenever, there's no set schedule, so probably not. Then Detective Bowen asks, because these 2 detectives, they're the ones who are like assigned assigned to this case, and they're like partners for this. Bowen says to Chloe, did anyone know for certain that you and your husband would be there? And Chloe's like, I told you before, I can't imagine anyone wanting to take Adam's life. And then of course the same question has to be asked again, because this is a murder case that they're trying to solve, so they're not going to be like, oh, okay, we'll take your word for it. Like, they're doing their jobs, you know? And Chloe's like, okay, well, I mean, I don't know, maybe his like assistant or something. And the detectives are like, oh, so you're lying to us. And Chloe's like, oh shoot, like, it's not gonna sound good. It's not gonna look good if you're changing your answer, if you say no and then suddenly you're like, wait a second. But basically she explains to the detectives like, okay, I was going to this party hosted by Catherine, like my boss's boss, and or like an old boss, whatever. And Adam, he's not really a fan of her, and he had to meet with like this big client for his work, and so he wouldn't, like, they knew that like he wouldn't be with me or like with us. And she's just explaining herself, trying to defend herself, obviously, and like trying to prove like I'm not lying. It's just, hey, like maybe the people at the party knew he wasn't there, or like his assistant knew he wouldn't be there or whatever, but like I can't imagine anyone wanting to take his life. Like, she even pulls up their text messages and shows it to the police, and it's a very like just typical like planning text message. Like, the last text she sent him were like the kissy face emoji and like a heart emoji, something like that, which shows like, okay, like they're clearly not fighting. Like, there's no bad blood between them right now. Like, they're good. It's just like, you don't want to be changing up your answers with detectives like for this kind of thing, you know? That's when the police like not make a switch, but then they ask Chloe, was anyone expecting you to be home? Do you have any enemies? Anyone that might want to like do what they did to Adam? And Chloe's trying to think. She's like, oh my god, like all she can think about are all those nasty hate comments. And she's like, I mean, I get really, really mean, nasty, threatening hate comments, but never, like, nothing physical ever. Like, it's all just very nasty tweets and Reddit comments, but like, you know, like, it thankfully has never escalated above that. Then the police ask her, I'm sorry, Miss Taylor, because her name's Chloe Taylor, with all these threats, why wasn't the alarm system set? And Chloe's like, what? And they're like, because you said you walked into the house without having to disarm the alarm system, and that's how you found Adam. And you said he was like in his pajamas and everything, like so he was probably like just in the kitchen to get a cup of water or something, or he was about to go to sleep. Why didn't he set the alarm system up in order to go to sleep? And Chloe's suddenly really angry. She's like, are you blaming my husband for someone like doing that to him? And they're like, no, ma'am, no, not at all. It's just we want to get a very clear picture about what is happening. And Chloe is like, what happened tonight was that my husband was murdered. And then indignantly, she's like, and we don't really set the alarm when we're at the house. I mean, if I'm there alone, yes, I set it, but like normally it's typical for us to not really use it when we're both there. Or for like when we're in the city, you know, just in case like burglars or whatever, as you were mentioning. Then Detective Bowen is like, okay, like we'll look into this. We'll look into everything. So Chloe's still kind of like seething at the comment of like, why didn't your husband set the alarm? Because it sounds very like victim blaming. She's livid, but you know, like trying to keep her cool. And the police, like, they seem to believe her. At least they're like doing a really good job of like faking belief. And as she's leaving, she like mutters under her breath like, oh, like at least Ethan wasn't there, her son, like at least he's like safe and everything. And then the police are like, oh yeah, where was he? Like, we need to contact his mother. Because Chloe's like freaking out. She's like, she doesn't want her son to like walk into this and find this like tomorrow. Like, she wants to tell him, like, she needs to find him. And Chloe's like, what do you mean? Like, I don't want to, because Ethan's like with his friend right now. And she's like, I don't want to like call his friend's mom. Like, I barely know the woman. Like, I don't want to have to tell her this, like, you know? And the police are like, no. We need to call your son's mother. And like, it's like the police knew, like, yeah, this isn't your biological son, like, we knew it, not but like, you get it. And the police, like, they didn't have to do this, but they like corrected her. They were like, no, like, Ethan is your stepson, we need to talk to his mother, like, biological mother. So she's gonna have to contact Nikki and tell her what happened. And so she gives the police the number, like Nikki's number, and she's like, Nikki McIntosh, my sister, Ethan's mother. And I think this is where we're gonna end part 1. This is honestly still only the first, like 4-ish chapters of the book. No, this is only like the first 6 chapters of the book. So this is gonna be a very, very long episode. Part 2 is probably gonna be the rest of it, or we might even have a part 3. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for listening. And if there are other books you would like to recommend, I really like slice of life and like romance stuff. So anything like that, let me know. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. I'll see you guys next week with another episode. Thank you so much. Bye!